Vault 94 was designed to test the adaptability of non-violent ideological groups when presented with post-apocalyptic societies. The Vault's core values consisted of faith, non-violence, communal life, and ecological harmony. The residents, endorsed by Antonio Salivar, belonged to an agricultural religious community, led by his ex-wife Gabriela Salivar, and were expected to reinforce their values during the shelter period of 1 year. In place of an overseer, the Vault was governed by a council system where all residents could participate in voting for the community. Living quarters were compact, creating communal residential spaces instead of individual quarters. The Vault was also given an abundance of high-value resources, but wasn't provided with any weapons, armor, or other defenses. Residents were encouraged to open the Vault to other survivors who would likely be armed and desperate, with Vault-Tec expecting this would require the community to quickly adapt and modify their belief system to survive. Tyrone Hayes, the sole Vault-Tec employee, was assigned to report Vault 94's progress as its special overseer. To reduce interference with the experiment, Hayes was to avoid contact with the residents and maintain his identity as a Vault-Tec maintenance engineer. As the Vault was self-governing, he had no authority and was instructed to avoid any role in the Council's decision-making process. As multiple mass extinction events were anticipated after the Great War, the primary mission assigned to Vault 94's residents was to monitor and preserve the local ecosystem while assisting other survivors with their needs. The Vault included a complete agricultural facility with a massive seed bank containing all known plants suitable for edible or medicinal use. It was also provided with a Garden of Eden creation kit in a secure wing of the Vault, with access requiring a council vote to prevent misuse. The Vault's GEC wing completed construction in March 2077, and by June, the unit was fully installed. On October 21st, 2 days prior to the Great War, Vault-Tec issued orders for staff to finish their assignments and return to Vault-Tec University, with the exception of Tyrone Hayes being ordered to stay behind. On October 23rd, when the signal came in, Hayes contacted Salivar, and the Vault's first residents arrived around noon. As radiation began to intensify, Tyrone attempted to stall the door for the rest of the congregation before the fail-safe tripped and automatically sealed around 1:30. The second bus arrived at the Vault at 3 o'clock, but the door was hardwired to prevent opening until the end of the shelter period, locking the residents outside. While remaining in a state of shock, the residents adjusted to the Vault's environment without conflict or outbursts. Salivar continued to be disdainful toward Hayes, blaming him for the second half of her congregation being locked out. Over time, Tyrone began to integrate into the community against the Vault's directive, attending community council meetings, morning services, and even proposing to Angelique, the pastor's daughter. As the year-long shelter period drew to an end, Salivar proposed an ambassador program to the council, sending residents out to search for survivors and invite them back to the Vault. Knowing the community wasn't capable of adapting to the wasteland, Hayes strongly advised against the motion and eventually revealed his role as overseer, presenting Vault-Tec's original instructions. After the motion passed, Tyrone attempted to prepare the residents, unsuccessfully proposing various security measures to the council. Vault 94 reopened on October 23, 2078, a year after the Great War. As per the pastor's initiative, ambassadors were given access codes to open the Vault door in place of the standard Pip-Boy interface and were sent into the wasteland to invite survivors back to the Vault. One Vault dweller, Maria Collins, also established a garden outside the Vault to test the contaminated soil. Many Vault ambassadors, however, were tortured or outright killed by raiders and hung as decorations. In November, a Vault ambassador arrived at Harper's Ferry, claiming that the Vault had enough supplies to establish a farm to feed the town. The mayor of Harper's Ferry, Miranda Vox, sent a group of survivors back to the Vault to investigate the ambassador's claims. On November 20th, the group arrived at the Vault and demanded to know who was in charge. Mike Ramirez sent the survivors to the community council, with the group failing to stop at the weapons check. At 12:04 p.m., suspicious of the community's hospitality and certain they were walking into a trap, the survivor group interrupted the council's meeting. Insisting that the vault's welcoming nature was a shameless trap to lure in trusting wastelanders, the group massacred the council. The wastelanders eventually gained access to the Gek wing with little resistance from the pacifist vault dwellers. At 5:51 p.m., assuming the Gek was some sort of mind control machine, the survivors shot the device with a minigun. This triggered a meltdown of the device's fusion generator, resulting in a massive Level 6 nuclear explosion with a radiation surge of 7,800 rads per second. Significant mutations were expected for any surviving organisms within the affected area, an estimated 5.5 kilometers. A thick fog poured from the vault's entrance, rapidly intensifying the area's swampy environment and mutating the region's dense foliage. In 2103, the Vault 94 door remained sealed. The entrance required a vault access code, which only ambassadors carried. While the corpses of many vault ambassadors are found scattered across Appalachia, none still carry their access codes.